What's going on, YouTube? This is Luke with Endless Entrepreneurs. I apologize for, I tried to start a live hangout here a few minutes ago. I had some technical difficulties. I'm using Shannon's computer, actually. The webcam is way better on this one. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm pulling up the chat now, making sure everything looks okay. Oh, there's my phone going off. If you can let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay, that would be great. Not sure actually we have anyone in here yet. All right. So as usual, every Sunday I like to do, well, for those new to my channel, I am a part-time eBay reseller and a full-time corporate finance analyst. And I every Sunday like to do a kind of like a shipping update on what sold for the weekend and then talk about a topic. And this week I really want to talk about true cost per item. Thanks, client, and thanks, Tony, for stopping in. Appreciate it. Let me know you can hear me. Hopefully this webcast is a little better than my other ones. Thanks, drummer. But for this week, I really wanted to talk about your true cost per item, and we'll jump into that here in a minute. But while people are starting to filter in, I'll just go through my sales for the weekend. I did ship out all my stuff that sold Friday night just to stay ahead, so it's not as much. It's not the whole weekend, but it's quite a few items at least to show you guys. Hopefully your weekends are going well and your sales are going well. Hi, Jill. Thanks for stopping in. But per usual, I'll try to blast through this. I do have softball coming up here pretty soon, so I need to be brief. So one of my first things I sold this week, I actually sold them this morning. These are called Born. Oops, probably helps I put them the right side up. Born handcrafted footwear. And these are like a leather like walking sandal. They're size 12. Picked them up for $5 and they sold for $30 with free shipping. Well, actually it was $24 with calculated shipping. Ended up being $30 all in. Hi, Lauren. Just listening away. I like to hear that. Hi, Better Barbie. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I've been listing all weekend, trying to catch up. I've listed over 100 items so far. I wanted to get to 150, but I have 2 softball games after this video, and so I highly doubt I'm going to 150, but hopefully 125 by the time the night's over. This was another thing I sold, a tactical series. I actually found a 511 tactical series, new with tags. This is just a basic polo shirt, cotton. Sold it for $32.99, full price. It was on sale. Free shipping. Was in it for $4, so great flip there. Also, this Affliction. I think this was in one of my haul videos the other day, but it's an Affliction. It's like just the Live Fast line. It's like their army like theme type shirts. It's like a quarter button. In it for $4 and sold it for $19.99. If anyone watched my other videos, you know I love to pick up these American Eagle vintage fit pearl snaps. I seem to sell one like per week. This actually sold for $24.99. My sale that I run normally lapsed. It was overnight, and so it sold before I could restart it. So it was pretty sweet to get that for 25. Sold for 25, in it for 4. Hey Tino, thanks for stopping in, man. This is actually I was pretty shocked when this sold. This is a Jets Chad Pennington jersey. I bought it in that lot of jerseys I bought back in the fall. So I'm in these for like $12.50, but this sold for $31.99, which actually it's just a Reebok NFL equipment jersey. I was surprised. He was an okay quarterback. There wasn't anything special for the Jets, but I was glad to grab that. I mean, they'll ship first class, so pretty pumped about that flip. All right, here's a John Varvatos. These are hit or miss for me for the dress shirts. I pick them all up because I get them for $4. So this sold for $23.99. It was on sale. So nice, decent flip. It's like a purple check. Let me see if we can see that tag through the label there. American Eagle. Tony just asked if it was a good brand. I only sell the Pearl Snap shirts. That's it. I don't really sell anything else in their brand, but those seem to sell well as a niche item. Good to hear you have great items there, Prelude. That's awesome. Here is, let me grab this tape off. This was an older item. This was a Nordstrom Smart Care line, like just dress shirt. You can see right there. Sold this for $14.99. I've had this forever. I don't like to sell stuff that cheap, but I wanted to move it because I had it for a long time. So I was in it for $4 way back when. I probably only made a couple bucks profit on it, but I just wanted to move it out of there. Hi, Josephina. Thanks for stopping in. Hi, Fred. Yeah, that's kind of an odd situation, Fred. All right. Here is a Ermenegildo Zegna. Not everyone might be familiar with it, but definitely a big blazer and suit brand. But this was just a dress shirt. Sold for $24.99. Their dress shirts haven't sold as great as they used to. They used to bring a lot more profit for me. But still, I'm in this for $4. Super lightweight. We'll ship pretty cheap. Looks like we're up to 27 people watching. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Really appreciate it on a Sunday here. We got March Madness cranking. Hopefully your brackets aren't broke yet. Mine is live and well so far. I have UCLA and Kansas in the finals. We'll see how that goes. But hopefully everyone else's brackets are going well. This is a Fastenable. This is actually a 4XL tall. I sold it for 20 bucks. I've had it for quite a while. So I was happy to move that. I'm in it for $4. It's a decent amount of profit. Not too bad. And we got just two more things here, guys. So these are Levi's. I know quite a few videos ago someone said that Levi's aren't moving, but these sell for me. And the slim fit lines. These are 513s. Sold them for $24.99. Free shipping. In them for $5. We'll ship flat rate. And last item here. Oh, these were new with tags. Gap women's jeans. Sold them for $21. Free shipping. In them for $5. We'll ship flat rate. So there's just a couple sales for you guys. Hopefully you guys' sales are going well. But I do want to jump into the topic here because I do have a hard stop at 4:15 Eastern. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of value on the topic. But I want to talk about true cost per item. I feel like a lot of times it's very misleading and we underestimate the cost that goes into each item you sell. And your cost really should dictate your buying decisions, right? So the cost per item to sell is going to dictate if the profit is worth it for you to pick it up. And so I really want to take the time to go through each building block that is our cost for me as a clothing seller, and hopefully they'll tie into what your guys, you're dealing with. They do vary slightly based on the item because of some of the supply costs, but I'm going to talk from pretty much a clothing perspective. So I'm going to leave shoes out of it because it's a little different with some of the cleaning and prepping and stuff that goes into that. But from like a shirt, jeans, pants, blazer perspective, I want to talk about those costs. Oh, sorry, that's my eBay's going nuts, which is good. So let's just start. The first cost that you have, right, is their purchase cost. So whatever it is, the cost to get the item. So for me, it's either $4 or $5, pretty much flat for jeans, pants, or shirts, right in that area. So that's like your building block one is your actual cost to purchase the item. Then you have your listing fee, which sometimes people don't think about when they're buying their item. Now, when I evaluate buying my item, I factor in 12 months. So 12 full months of listing fees into my cost. Even though a lot of it sells way faster than that, if I can't be profitable with affording a 12 months of having that item listed, for me, I might not pick it up if the margin is that thin. So for me, I put 10 cents a month. And I say, so $1.20 I just factor in. So that's how I think about it. Doesn't mean that's going to be my true cost. And so we're going to keep the true cost. But when I want you guys to think about your buying decisions too, right, that's how I evaluate it. So we'll just say for 1 month, it's at least 10 cents for your true cost. Let's assume that it sells in 30 days. So you have purchase price. Then I have my listing fee, so 10 cents. Then you have your final value fee when the item actually sells. So that's your eBay fees, which is roughly 10% for clothing. So let's use $25 as kind of that, or we'll use $20. This is a more even number. So use $20 for my sale. So now I'm at 10 cents plus 10% of the $20. So we're at $2. So we're $2.10 plus the purchase price. We'll say dress shirt is $4. So now I'm at $6.10 already in cost, and we haven't even gotten to shipping the item. PayPal is going to be like 3%. So what are we? This another. I should probably calculate for this. It's sad. I work in finance, I know, but I use Excel for everything. So another 60 cents. So now we're up to $6.70, and we haven't even got to shipping the item yet. That's both PayPal, final value fees, your listing fee, and your purchase price. Now we get to shipping costs. So I'm going to assume we're going to like kind of the top end of, let's say 14, 15 ounces. So we're at like $4.30 for shipping, just to keep it even. So now we're at $11 of cost. So true cost for a dress shirt if it sells at 20 bucks. That's shipped. Now, a lot of people would stop there. And I think this is where we kind of drop the ball as sellers sometimes because we get really excited about the profit we're going to make on the item. So right there, I would stop me. Okay, I netted $9. For me, if I could net $9, it's just under 50% on a lower end dress shirt, like my Ralph Lauren I'm happy with that. Like for me, that's worth my time. But then we also have packing supplies. So for me, self-seal poly bags and a clear poly bag. So that's 8 cents and another 10 cents for me. That's what they cost me. So there's 18 more cents. So now I'm under $9. And it seems meaningless, but guys, when you sell, like I've sold 700 items this month, this year, not a month. That's a lot. That adds up to quite a bit. It's a couple $100 extra, out of my net profit that I was expecting. And then we have a storage cost. So a lot of you have your stuff at home and that's not an issue. But for me, I still have a storage cost. I pay $148 a month for my storage unit. So let's just say on a per monthly, right now I'm selling about 225 items a month. 148 divided by 225. So about 65 cents per item to store. If we're just talking about sold items, it kind of dilutes if you think about all the items, but that's how I'm going to look at it. So now that's almost another $1 of cost that I didn't even think about that is underneath there for me. And so now I'm down to $8 profit. So now we have $8 profit. And this is where, if you've watched Jason over on Prof Sales, I love how he thinks about this. And he thinks about the value of his time as a cost as well, right? So if it took me, let's just say on average, it probably took me 5 minutes to source and 15 minutes to list for that item. So 20 minutes is $8 of net profit worth 20 minutes. So for me, that's what, $24 of net profit per hour. I think that's really high. The time I'm estimating, I think it's probably a lot lower than that. But I'm just saying overall, I get 20, 30 items and I source. It's probably a lot quicker than that. But that's how I evaluate when I'm out there and I look at an item. I'm thinking about those things. I have them in the back of my head so that I know if it's worth my time. So $20 to me, $17 to $20 for a sell price on something that's going to go first class is the bottom of the range that I'm looking to buy when I make my purchasing decisions. Now, we'll go to the flip side, and I'll show you how kind of where I make most of my money and make that net profit, because I'm around almost 60% net after everything, is when you start talking about a blazer, right? So a blazer, on the flip side, only $1 more to buy, $1 more to ship, but they sell for $40 to $80 to $100. So now my net for one of those, and roughly the same amount of prep time, my net goes from like that $8 on the dress shirt all the way up to $40, $50, $60, depending on the purchase price or the what it's sold for. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I've been really thinking about that a lot this week as I'm trying to push my average sale price up to 28. And that's my goal as a seller. And I think it's important to know why you want that sell price and what the costs are and do they slide? Are they variable, right? Your fees are variable. When the purchase price goes up, your fees go up, whereas my fixed costs for storage, for supplies, for shipping, those stay fixed, purchase costs. So it's really good when you can push your purchase price up, your average sale price up, you make so much more money on the net side of things because you have a lot of fixed costs when it comes per item. And understanding those fixed costs is how you make more money. And a lot of people talk about, oh, gross sales, I sold, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, it's great if your net's only 10%. That's not good. That's not as good, right? Like for me, if I can't maintain a 55, 60% net selling clothing, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And I think it's really important that you understand that. So not knocking anyone at all. This is just, I want you guys to start thinking about that. And hopefully this is helpful especially for a lot of new sellers. I get a lot of questions about cost and net. And so hopefully this sheds a lot of light into how I view it and what actually goes into it. Especially we're at tax time now. People are doing taxes for, the previous year, things like that. When your net and what you're going to be taxed on the next year is also very important. So I'm going to stop there. I've just rambled on, and we will flip over to some Q&A. Fire away whatever questions you have. I have exactly 15 minutes, and I have 2 softball games, and we'll be jetting off to those. Hi, Benny. Thanks for stopping in. Hi, Rhino. Let's shout some people out here. Hey, Fred. All right. I think I shouted everyone else. We got about 30-some people watching. If you have questions, let them fly. Otherwise, we can wrap up early. I have no problem with that. Jay Curtis just asked, what is the quantity and price for the clear poly bags you use? That's a great question. So I bought all my supplies for this year at the end of this last year, and I bought them, and the highest quantity I could find was 2,500. I bought 4 packs of 2,500 for the clear poly bags, and it ended up being, I think it was like 8 cents, maybe 6.5 cents per. I'd have to go back and look. It's somewhere in that range. The reason I did that, by the way, was I got to the end of the year and tax time. We talk about knowing our costs. I started looking at what I was going to net this last year, and wanted to mitigate a lot of my costs or mitigate my net profit in business. So I stocked up on all my supplies for this year and some equipment and things like that. That way I could have that cost for last year. So that was why I did that. Just kind of nice this year, but I mean, eventually it's going to catch up a little bit. I'm going to have to find some other things. Rhino LA said, if I buy something for 9 and sell for 45, is that good margins? So yeah, it depends, Rhino. I mean, on the surface, yes. But if that thing costs you $25 to ship, then no. So what is it that you're buying? What does it cost you to ship? What does it cost you to package? What does it cost you to store? Right? Those are the things that are like the in between the lines, right? We start reading between the lines, and on the surface, 9 for 45 looks great, right? That's at the gross margin. That's awesome, right? Cost of goods minus your sale price. But when you start digging into the costs, so it's a shirt and it weighs 10 ounces, then yeah, I'd say that's amazing, right? Because what it costs you $4 a ship, probably was $1 in shipping supplies, whatever your storage is, you know, you're looking at a huge net. Your fees, 13% of 45 is $585. So you're looking, I mean, you're at least netting $20 to $25 there easily. So yeah, that's a great, if you can do that all the time, that's awesome. Drummer, I'm glad that makes sense. Hey, David, thanks for stopping in. Hi, Larry. Drummer asks, how often do I source? So I try to hit like 8 stores a week. That's kind of my rough goal. I didn't source all this last week because I had family in town. So I sourced 1 store yesterday and 1 store today. That's been it for the weekend because I had so much inventory built up before they came. I've just been listing. But yeah, I try to hit 8 stores. I average like probably 15 to 20 items per store. So it usually keeps me ahead of the curve for getting my 350 listings up per month. Benny said, I'll read comments from people who say that they were selling on eBay for years and a bad buyer got them banned. They'll all say to stay away from eBay. That type of feedback gets me down. So Benny, I don't think a bad buyer can get you banned. And I'm going to be really bold in that statement. A, you should ignore it, right? And B, if you spend the time to research how to sell properly on eBay, that's not going to happen to you, right? So the couple ways you get banned, and this is my head knowledge, it's not like the gospel, so to speak, but if you're selling items that can be counterfeited easily and you can get Vero complaints against, that's a way to get your account banned. So for me, I stick to clothing and I stay away from those. I don't try to sell Gucci and those type of things and Versace and stuff like that when I find it, unless I'm darn sure I can verify and back up that it's verified and it's legit, right? So that's 1, stay away from that. 2, a bad buyer, the worst that's going to happen is they're going to say that you were misleading, that the item's not described, or that you didn't deliver what they say, right? If you picture an item, you shipped an item, even if you ship the wrong item to them, the worst that's going to happen, right, is you're going to refund them their money fully, and you're going to get 1 negative feedback. But if you're conducting business on hundreds of sales per month and the 1 anomaly happens to you, you're not going to get banned permanently. Even Ronnie on Hearts Picker, he sold a jersey. It was a new Tags jersey, perfectly authentic, picked it up from Marshall's. He got a 7-day listing ban for a Vero complaint that happened against him. He didn't lose his account. I mean, that's his full-time income. But because he has a reputable record of a long-term, seller doing the right thing, they're not going to ban his account. So just hopefully that makes sense to you, Benny. Don't be scared. Just do your research, do your due diligence, watch sellers who are successful and mimic their habits. I mean, that's what all I've done. I've watched people who've been successful and I've mimicked what they've done. None of my thoughts are very that original. They're just a collection of people who have done it successfully. Fred said, have you come up with a foolproof method for selling jeans that doesn't leave buyers confused about the size? Tag says 32 waist, but measured 34. Do you list as 32 or 34 in any specifics? That's a great question. So what I do is if let's just say the tag is 32, like you said, the tag is 32 waist, but it measured 34. In the title, I put 34. I don't even bother to put what the tag has in the title because most buyers look at title, picture, and pull the trigger. They don't even they're not going to take the time to go, oh, it says tag size in the title, and then look at your description and see, oh, wait, it doesn't measure that. Most of the time, they don't do that. So I would say think about the order that the buyer processes information, which is going to be title, picture. That's the sequence, and usually search term. So always put the exact measured size in the title. And then what I do is in my description, I say tag says X, but true measurements is what's in the title and here. And then that way, I haven't had any issues with that. I've sold plenty of pair that way, and hopefully that makes sense for you, Fred. That's just what's worked for me. R. Warren said, been away from inventory all week across country visiting family. Can't wait to get back to my inventory. That's great, Warren. Yeah, it's good to have balance. So visiting family is great. It was awesome having my family in town. I hear you. I'm kind of playing catch up now, but it was definitely worth it. David C. said, I bought a new pair of Gucci shoes, but they turned out not to be Gucci, so I couldn't list them. Lucky that they fit my son. Yeah, David. I mean, that's why I stay away from a lot of that stuff, especially what really tips off the Vera complaints is when you sell that stuff and it's new condition. Because they're much more leery about new with tags knockoffs than they are the used stuff, right? Because the used stuff almost flies on the radar a little more since it's like, hey, it was in someone's closet and they sold it versus the new with tags reproduction and someone's selling them in bulk there. So that's just what I've seen. I haven't had any personal issues. I hope I'm not jinxing myself, but I just stay away from that stuff in general. There's enough money to be made in other brands. Tony Anderson got a cell phone, $30, sold it for $250 auction. eBay Porsche design BlackBerry. Nice. I've got about 10 minutes, guys. Any other questions? You really can ask anything you want right now. I like the Q&A back and forth. Jill Getty said, what lines or entries on the listing page do you skip? I don't skip many. I would say occasionally in the item specifics, like if it asks like theme or like season, I don't always populate that. But like color, material, size, style, like the basic style, I always include. On like the big description, I have a template I use. I always do title and I always do condition description. Maliko said, can you please make a video on how to do spreadsheets for eBay, how many different spreadsheets, etc.? I believe you're the perfect person for that video. Maliko, I can do a more in-depth video on the spreadsheet I use. I honestly just use one. So that one you guys see in my sales update video, that's pretty much all I use. And then at the end of the year, I have like a P&L consolidated view of my business that I just pile all the stuff into. I am working on a like kind of like a WordPress website right now, just because I've been getting a ton of requests for the spreadsheet and emailing it has taken up a lot of my time. So I'm going to eventually have like a WordPress site where you guys can just go and grab those templates when you want them. So maybe like that's a great idea. As my website comes out, I'll do a video on that and I'll link them up there so you guys can just go grab them for free off the site. Benny said, so I watched your video on selling jeans. I'm surprised that you don't use the eBay app. Yeah, Benny. So a lot of people use the app. It just doesn't work for me. Hi, Johnny. I've tried both, and I'm just more efficient if I can batch everything. So like Shannon actually does it. She doesn't use the app. She uses her laptop, but she does hers from kind of start to finish more. She's starting to batch a little bit. I see here. It's getting contagious. So but when I batch items, I can do a lot more. Like I can do 30 to 40 items in an hour of pictures and then do the measurements in like 30 to 40 minutes. And then I can just list for another hour, hour and a half and have 40 items up in 3 hours. So it's a lot faster when you take the manufacturing approach to it. Let me see. Client counsel, how many months should it take to become profitable? So that's a really interesting question. So if you think profitable in terms of tax lingo, so like your net profit and not what you paid for inventory this year, I don't think it'll take long at all. I think you are almost instantly profitable. But when you talk about it from if all the inventory I bought this year, did I sell more in net profit to make up for that? I don't know how long that's going to take. And what I mean by that is when you talk about like if I'm profitable as a business, I only measure the cost of the items that actually sold, not when I go to the store and buy 80 items. That isn't necessarily going to be a cost of goods this year until those items sell. So I know that's a little tricky, and maybe I'll do a more detailed video on that. But in general, I think that you should be making money probably 3 months in, I would say. Like if from an overall cash flow perspective, you should be pretty cash positive by month 3. And that's just that's a blanket guess. Let me see. Pampered in pajamas. When men's shirts have no buttons but buttonholes on the sleeves, does that mean it needs cufflinks? Yeah, exactly. Those are French cuff shirts. They used to be a lot more desirable, and I don't know if it's just kind of the fad is out and people don't use them as much. But yes, French cuffs. That's the name of it, and there's a spot in the item specifics to select standard versus French. So just make sure you notate French and just show it in the pictures. And yeah, that requires cufflinks. Better Barbie said, "Is your better half is doing YouTube videos too?" Yeah, she's actually. So it's pretty neat because I can't answer a lot of the new seller questions when it comes to like how long did it take to get daily sales. You know, what are some of the struggles you're having because I started it so long ago. So she's been tracking from like her very beginning. She's been selling for like about 2.5 weeks. Shannon, she's over here doing pictures. she's like 2.5 weeks, and she already has like 7 or 8 sales. She's closing on 100 items listed. And so she's been tracking that, doing haul videos, and it's all women's clothing. So it's totally separate from what I'm doing. That was why I encouraged her to do YouTube as well. It's just, I don't know anything on women's clothing. I would love to help people, but I just don't know. And yeah, she wants me a little plug there. It's Shannon on a Mission if you want to check out her YouTube channel. Hey, it's Porsche. I don't pay more than $1 for any of my items since Houston Goodwills have the weekly dollar tag sale. Wonder if I should try other thrift stores to see what they have. Yeah, that purchase price is awesome, Porsche. I mean, I'm really jealous of that. But yeah, I mean, check out all the stores just because I feel like you're going to miss out on home run items at the other retail stores. And don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Yeah, we got almost 50 people watching live right now. I really appreciate everyone stopping in on their Sunday afternoon here. Got about 5 minutes. I'll keep right on through these questions here. Rhino said, during tax time, can you deduct shipping that comes out of your PayPal, even if the buyer pays for shipping, since money is coming in? Well, that makes sense. Okay, so think about it this way, Rhino. Shipping is always an expense to you because you're paying for the shipping, even if they're giving you money for it. So there's 2 business models on eBay, right? There's free shipping or there's calculated shipping. Either way, you're taking in a total fee for the item, and then it's your responsibility to get it to them. So your shipping money is considered income from a tax perspective. When they pay you shipping money, that's considered income. It's not. So just try to think about it as an all-in price. So if it was $25 plus $5 shipping, they paid you $30. Your sale was $30, and then it's your responsibility to get the item to them. So the shipping becomes your cost after that. So you took $30, you paid for shipping, you paid for the item, and those are your costs out of it from a tax perspective. And let me see. Yeah, and so you need to make sure that you include that as one of your line items for your expenses. Classy Soul said you're both listing machines. Yeah, we're a little intense. There's no doubt about that. We've got some pretty lofty goals for this year, so hopefully we hit them. Klein, if Wichita State upsets Kentucky, that's amazing. I'm in this weird pool where you pick 10 teams that add up to 82 in seeds. So like the number on their seed has to add up to 82. So the longer your higher seeds stick around, I have Michigan, Wichita State, and Wisconsin as my 3 biggies left. So I hope they win. Rhino says, is there an easier way to see how much shipping totals you made the whole year? Because some are 2-day and some are regular. If you go to your PayPal, and you look at your activity sheet, you can actually export it into Excel. It'll show you the total amount of money from each transaction you took in, and that's what you report as your income. David said, when I ship FedEx, they give an estimate, but eBay doesn't bill actual costs until item is delivered. I can't weigh in there, David, only because I've never shipped FedEx for eBay sales. I use all USPS and just print from eBay. So I can't really comment on that one. Common Piece said, what boxes do you ship your shoes in? And he said he's new to eBay, so no problem. Yeah, if you can fit them in the medium flat rate, go ahead. I typically use, it's literally called a shoebox, priority mail, and I just ship it in there for the most part. And then if it's cheaper and I can fit it in a regional, I will. Or if it's like those sandals, I'm probably going to stick them in a padded flat rate for, $6, whatever it is. So that's kind of how I ship those. Check out Tino, the Soul Advisor. He's in the chat here, but check out his channel, Common, for shoe advice, like shipping and things like that. He does shoes almost exclusively full-time out of Texas. He's amazing. He has tons of content on there, so check him out. Johnny said, oh, sorry, I'm missing. Listing in bulk is addicting because once you, oh man, my chat just, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Listing in bulk is addicting because once you're done listing everything, you feel great. Yeah, I love listing in bulk. I like doing it as like a manufacturing approach to it. Fred said, do you like your CPA? Does he take long distance clients? Yeah, Fred, shoot me an email about that. We can talk offline about that. I do enjoy mine, and I have no problem giving referrals. Just shoot me an email. David said, I use FedEx Smart Post, and a lot of times it's less than USPS, even though they deliver it for FedEx. Go figure. That's great. I mean, as long as it can deliver in the window you promised, I mean, that's really all that matters. If you can save money, then that's even better. I think that's why I haven't done shoes as much. I don't know. I just like to keep it simple for me. If I'm balancing too many shipping options, it's just kind of a headache. But that's just my personal preference. All right, I'll take one more question, and then I got to wrap up here. David said, do you still use the basic store, or have you updated? So I'm at a premium store. I have about 1,600 active items, give or take. I'll probably be around 1,700 by the end of this month. And I did a video on subscription stuff you can check out, David. And it shows the exact amount of items you need for each store level, like when it's worth it money-wise. So I think it's like $485 or something like that. You should have a basic store up until 485 active listings for fixed price, and then you should jump to premium, and then not until like $28.85 do you switch to the anchor store. Hi, Hipster. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Michelle asks, what's Tino's YouTube again, please? It's Tino, the Soul Advisor, SOLE. Classy Souls says, Luke, your audio is so much better than it has been in the past. Thanks for fixing that, whatever you did. Thanks, Gina. So two things. One, my nice expensive mic I bought had the mute button on it, and so I was defaulting to my laptop mic. So that was problem number one, technical difficulty, me, user error. And now I'm using Shannon's laptop and her webcam, which is 10 times better than the one that I have on mine, so we'll be using this from now on. But all right, guys, I need to wrap up. Thank you so much for stopping in this Sunday. I hope your sales are absolutely crushing it for March. We've got about a third of the month left, so race to the finish, hit those goals. And then, guys, quarter one's over. So we'll start evaluating what quarter two looks like and just keep pushing on. Have a great day, guys, and hopefully Wichita finishes this upset right now. See you guys.